I'm having so much fun. How about you? You know, there's a lot that it's hard to absorb sometimes. And a lot of times it's because we're not really focused on what's going to help us feel even better. Right? When Elliot was telling us that you actually have to stop and think of your business passion, right? Not just what you're passionate about. I mean, that was brilliant. You know, there's these moments that you kind of step out of yourself and you're like, oh. And I hope you wrote it down, right? For your tactile people. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about filtering. Because that's what I find for business owners in general, and then especially speakers, is we don't really filter people into our life, and especially out of our life. Because we always talk about who we want, but we don't often stop and say who we don't want also. Because that is just, if not more important, than who do we want to attract. Because a lot of times we feel like we're attacking because we're not real clear about the person. And this is about an audience too. This is not just about an audience in person, but an audience on Facebook. Because when you talk on Facebook, you're actually talking to an audience. Did you even think about that? Right? You're talking, anytime you have more than one person, you have an audience. And it's your responsibility to have a really solid message that you're constantly promoting. And a lot of times we get stuck because we start getting excited about lots of different things, and our messages get mixed up, but not really the main message is what I'm talking about, but we're talking about an underlying message. Okay? So, first of all, I love this picture. This was me in 2005, exactly. Because nobody believes I used to be an introvert. And people are like, oh, he's so cute. I'm like, whatever. I mean, look at all that shininess. I got some pimples going on. I mean, look at the hair. And ladies, I was dressed for a holiday gala. That's how introverted. Someone was like, you look like you're going to a funeral. Exactly. This was the Tonya that says, don't look at me, right? Because back then, I didn't know anything about filtering. I didn't filter anybody in or out. I just kind of huddled. And I know why I was that way. That's not the point back then, because I had gone through horrible things. We go through horrible things, and sometimes our reaction is to withdraw. And that's really what I did. After having cancer, being robbed and tied up when I was 6 months pregnant in my retail stores. And those are the good things. So when I say I've gone through some, you go through some. And for me, it meant it was so much easier to fade away. But then one day, people are always like, what made you change? What made you go from that to this? What made you go from a brunette to a blonde? Well, that's just called old age, but that's something different. When we're talking about getting out of your own way, because really when you are that introverted, you've got a lot of fears. And there's extroverts that have fears too, but they keep us from doing things. And I went to a networking group. Y'all ever been to a networking group? Yes. When you're a new person at a networking group, what are you called? Fresh meat. Especially with a very long-running networking group, right? All the little business owners, you have your realtor, your insurance, your Mary Kay lady, you have all of the traditional, people who are there. And you walk in there like, oh, new person, hey, here's my card, here's my card, here's my card. And I was like, oh my gosh. But it made sense to me because it meant I didn't have to go cold calling out in Austin heat in the summertime, right? So I thought, this is something I can try to get used to, until they told me I had to stand up and do an elevator pitch. Have y'all ever had that moment of, I've got to stand up in front of people and say something? And like every bone in my body was shaking. And I literally stood up that day and said, hi, I don't remember who I am. And I sat back down. Yes, I know, I'm the CEO of the Public Speakers Association. But it's because I moved myself beyond that. Because I saw a woman walk in and people jumped up. They ran over to her. They gave her a hug. They were like, oh my gosh, here's referrals, here's this, here's that. And they were like, all this interaction. And she didn't look too much different than me. And I thought, well, if she could do it, I bet I could do it. And you start pushing yourself. So one of the things I really want you to consider doing, and it really helped me, is I started writing out my fears. I don't care how crazy they were. One of them was, walk up to a guy in a tie. I know, isn't that crazy? I would be like, ooh, he's got a tie on. He's someone important, right? He's got a tie. It may have a stain on it, but oh well. Okay, so I just did it. I started doing it, and as you do it, you get over it, right? Because it becomes easier, and you start realizing how ridiculous your fears are. Push yourself because it's worth it. Do the things that are the craziest things you've ever done, because there's always going to be something else you haven't done yet. And the more you push through the things that are really hard, the easier the things are to do that seem like back then it would be impossible. And I still run into things. You're like, when do I ever get over this fear issue? Thank you. It doesn't. And people are always like, oh, well, I'll go on stage when I'm ready. I'm like, okay, you'll never get on stage. The other day, I had a gentleman reach out to me on Facebook. You see how I love Facebook. And his name was Solomon. He was from Africa. And no, he didn't have lots of money for me to suddenly inherit. But he said, I want to have you come and speak at my group. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And now I've been asked to go speak in Africa before, but they usually want me to pay to go over there and be more of like a charity type of thing. So I was like, okay, well, just see what he wants. And started a great conversation all on Facebook Messenger, right? And at the end of the day, he wanted me to speak to his group. Well, I didn't really know much about his group, except for that they were change makers. And I said, well, that's good enough for me. And so I was there, and I was ready to, be on his event that day, 3 o'clock. I said, what platform are we using? He goes, WhatsApp. And I'm like, what the hell is WhatsApp? He goes, you have to download it on your phone. I'm like, on my phone? So how are they going to watch me on the video? And he goes, it's texting. I'm like, texting? Isn't my presentation an hour? He goes, yes, and 30 minutes Q&A. And I'm like, I've got a text for an hour? Are you joking? It's like writing a book. And I know, on my phone, and my big fingers. I'm not a fast typer. And I just had that moment of, oh, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to do it. Do it on your computer. Yeah. I said, can I do this on the computer? He's like, I don't know. We use the phone. I said, he goes, there is some video, but most of the people here in Africa, they don't have the broadband to do the video. I'm like, oh. So I was just like, I'm not going to do it because I've never done that before. And then I was like, oh, something came up for me, right? I was like, okay. I said, so you've done this before with people? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, if others have done it, And then I started thinking, I'm like, if I tell him no because I'm scared of what's up, what is that really saying about me? You're the CEO of the Public Speaker Association. What? You can't text an hour presentation? So I said, okay. It was brilliant. I started, of course, I was typing too fast because you're nervous. Isn't it funny when we're always nervous when we get on stage for like the first 5 minutes or something like, are they going to all throw something at me? I don't know, whatever was in our head. And so, I start typing, and finally he goes, slow down. It's only been 5 minutes, you have an hour. I'm like, oh, okay, good. And then I hit my stride. You know how that magic moment? The magic moment in WhatsApp. So I started typing and I started asking questions. Now he had warned me, as we all know, very few people interact, right? You do a webinar, you try to get people to ask questions, and zero. People started interacting. I started going, got it? Yeah, fabulous. I'm like, ooh. So, and then I would ask a question. And then I got a few people asking questions. And suddenly he goes, oh my gosh, you've got them interacting. You are brilliant. You are the CEO of the Public Speaker Association. I'm like, I know it. And I didn't stop texting for an hour and 15 minutes. I know. It was crazy. So you can do whatever craziness comes up if you just do it. Now, what I've found is it's all about filtering. And I was talking to him a little bit about filtering. And there's different types of filtering that you do. Rules. Now, when I started today, those that were here this morning, bright and early at 8:30, we talked about the rules. Now, when I first started you've got to be nice rule, no mean, grumpy, negative people ever allowed, I had a lot of negative people come up to me and they're like, that's stupid. I'm like, bye. It was the best thing I ever did for myself or my business. And all of you. Was make a rule about being nice. Because it filtered in nice people. I mean, look around. These are like some darn nice people, right? Yes. Yes. And it also eliminated the people that we don't want around us. Then I started the imperfect rule because I got tired of people like, you misspelled something. You've got grammar issues on your website. I know. I'm like, okay, fine. So you can make up your own rules. Now I handed y'all a piece of paper, or each person should have had a piece of paper with my pretty picture at the top. And what I want you to do is write down your core rules. So let's talk about your core rules. It's something that not only do you live by, but you want everyone else to be around you live by that as well, okay? It's the core value proposition of you. What is your biggest pet peeves about people tells you kind of what your rules are. If something drives you crazy, then that's probably the rule that you want to initiate in your business. Make sense? Now, you don't want to break your own rules unless you have a good reason, right? So for me, if I started saying really ugly things about people, if I started posting something on Facebook, oh my gosh, did you see what happened, right? Then that could be really bad because now people see that I'm not being authentic. It's not a real rule for me. Or if I started going, well, I can't believe this person didn't have this perfect, or that presentation wasn't just right. I mean, if I started doing things like that, then I wouldn't be authentic, right? So these are core value rules that you're willing to make people live by that are around you. Family, friends, clients. And so when you first start talking to somebody, before you have them sign up with anything you do, you ask them what their core values, and you let them know what yours are. So when I speak from stage, I always tell people that I want people to be around me that are nice and imperfect. And it's great because it automatically filters out anybody who doesn't follow those rules. So if I'm going to do a contest from stage or sell something from stage or do anything, I want to take out anybody who doesn't have those core values. Make sense? Same thing with Facebook. If I suddenly have someone on my thread that's like, nah, 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 nah. The best 2 buttons ever invented was delete and block. Use them. They are fun. Right? You get someone who emails you and they're like, well, blah, 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 right? Ooh, take them out of your unsubscribe list, right? Just unsubscribe them immediately. Hopefully they already did it. And by the way, you should never look at who unsubscribes from your email list. Just say, thank you, yay! Okay? So I want you to come up with a good 1, 2, 3 core values. One of my silent third is no elitism. Because we're all equals. You know? We all hopefully brush our teeth. We all obviously, all sleep and eat. So for me, it really is about equality. So that's kind of an unspoken one that I'd often love. So let's talk a little bit about dividing people. So when you're speaking from stage, and really any place in life, 25% of the people don't like you. I know. This was a hard one for me, and ladies, I know it's really hard to get over, because I'm like, what's there not to like? What am I doing wrong? Do I need to change? What do I need to do? How can I make that person like me? But then I focused on that person, right? Over and over and over again. Oh, please, please like me. Do you do that? I know some of you do. Mm-hmm. So you've got to understand that that's just 25% of the bottom. What we're wanting to look at is 25% of the top. The top people who love you. They can't wait to talk to you. They can't wait to do business with you. They can't wait to be around you. These are people who are going to sign up for your products. Can't wait to introduce you. They're going to be the best referral partners. They're going to be the ones who want to do something with you at their events. These are the people that you want to really bring into your community. This is your community. I have a lot of people, a lot of times, they're like, oh, I got the wrong community. They're all broke, and they're complaining, and they're whiners. And I'm like, why is that? Because a lot of times we attract exactly who we are. So stop and look at, who are you attracting, right? So look at your community and you can change it. I know I did. I woke up one day in 2007 when I made that rule. Because all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really like the people that I'm surrounding myself with. And how can I do something about it? Because we all have the power to do something about anything. Now, there's a huge section here, 50%. Who are those people? Right? They haven't made a decision yet. Right? Some people are, let me hang around you a little bit. I haven't quite made that decision. So they're kind of on the fence. And you're okay whichever side of the fence that they decide to go on. So a lot of times they'll join your newsletter just to kind of hang out. And suddenly they're, okay, I'm ready. Right? I had someone contact me. And they were like, oh my gosh, Tonya, I've been following you on Facebook for 8 years. Oh my. I know. And she goes, I'm finally ready to be a speaker. I'm like, good for you. Let's get going. Right? And then there was somebody the other day, I saw them delete themselves. I'm like, yay, they made a decision. It's always great when people make a decision, right? Just make a decision already. So be okay with whatever it happens. Now remember that bottom 25% that doesn't like you, you know what's great about that group? You don't like them either. I know. Because really, we focus on them so much, and we start, one day I was like, why can't they, and I'm like, why do I care? I don't even like that dude. Let him go. Okay? Now, not to go into the DISC program a lot, but let's just talk about people, because it's also about filtering people by personality types. So who knows the DISC program? Let me kind of get an idea of, okay, so about half. So the DISC program is very simple. There's 4 basic personality types. There's the go-getters. I'm going to win every contest. I'm going to be the CEO. I want the power. I love those people. They make a decision really quickly, but do not talk to them about your puppy. They do not care. Just give them the info they asked. All right? And then there's, oh, I want to have fun. I'm so excited to be on stage. Everybody's looking at me. We're going to have so much fun, fun. If you give that person info, they're going to go, that's not fun. Why do you give me all that info? Quit talking to me about how it works. I don't care. Are we going to have fun? Right? Then there's the people, let me digest that a little bit more. Can you send me 14 documents explaining the whole procedures? You don't have a workbook with procedures? What's wrong with you? Everyone has procedures documented. But those people are awesome because once you give them all the procedures, they're in forever.
They'll create it for you.
Yeah, or they'll create it for you. Exactly. I love those people. Exactly. You're exactly right. I always like the people that are like, oh, I found all these, they went through my entire website finding every error, and you're like, that was so nice of you. That must have taken you hours. Side joke. And then there's the people who are like, oh, give me a hug. Oh, I want to help you. Can I volunteer? Can I hand out something for you? What can I do for you? What can I do? I need to do something. Tell me what I can do. But do not ask them to try to sell anything, right? Oh, no, I just want to help. I just want to be a helper. Mm-hmm. These are your 4 basic personality types. Now, a lot of times what makes it complicated is we don't always just one. A lot of times we're kind of a mix. Usually 2 is like our primary. There's 1 primary and then another one right behind it, and then there's another that's extra, okay? And then there's one that we just don't ever visit. Mine would be the analytical, you got to do all the procedure stuff, right? Whew, that's why I married one. Honey, can you do this for me? Right? We have to be smart about who we marry, right? Partner with, whatever, right? So when you start looking at different personality types, right? Who is attracted to you? So I want you to write that down on your paper. Who's naturally attracted to you? Now, I used to think it would be I want to have fun, which I do. I have a lot of people who come because they are like me. We all like to have fun. But I attract a lot of very analytical people because I'm the opposite, And they know they need that opposite to balance them out. When I met with Mr. Al over here, I loved it. He came with a 2-page printed out front and back 25 questions that we went through. I know. And when I went through them, he goes, okay, right? But it was great for me because then I got to see, what did he ask, right? Everybody has incredible value. And if people are attracted to you, why are they attracted to you? What is missing in their equation? Because then you know how to talk to them with your benefits, right? If you're trying to sell them into a program or a product, you can talk to them about the benefits so that they're attracted by that. And you don't discount somebody just because they require something you don't. Make sense? Okay. Products and services. So a lot of times we also don't filter people through our products and services. I was talking to a lady the other day. I said, so tell me, because she wanted to hire me and everything. And I was like, okay, well, let's go through what you're going to be offering as a speaker. So what are you selling in the back of the room? And she went blank. And she goes, I've got a book. Yeah. And I'm like, so you're not going to make any money? Right? Because she only had one product for hopefully one person, right? I mean, you've got to look at all those personality types. Some people won't even want to read a book. Maybe there's an audio person, right? So you have to look at how can you create something so that you're filtering in the people you want, filtering out the people you don't want, and you've got the products that are aligning with those people. Because a lot of times we align our products with people that we're not even wanting to attract. So find the right products that aligns with the right people so you can build the community that loves you. Make sense? Got it? Uh-huh. And then we're talking about driving traffic. Because most of you don't drive. Uh-huh. I always love it because I won't mention who, but there's someone who's launching a website and she's making a banner for the top. She won't launch the website because the banner's not right. Mm-hmm. Or the wording isn't right or whatever. Nobody's even going to the website. You got to let it go because it's a work in progress. And a lot of times for, especially if you talk to someone like me, I'm never even going to go to your website. I'm just, I'm going to love you and want to hire you and that's it. Some people don't even go to a website to check you out. And then, I don't know if Michelle's in the house. Where's Michelle? Anton. She here today? Oh, there you are. She went and watched every absolute video online that she could absolutely watch. So for her, right, she's an absorber. Me, no. Don't send me a video. Probably won't watch it. So people are always like, oh, here's my video. As if they need to prove something to me, right? Which is always weird to me. I'm like, okay, you say you can speak. I'm sure you can. Prove it. It's like they overly try to prove that they're a speaker. Here's my speaker sheet. Here's my video. Here's my website. I'm like, I got you. Do you want to join? Because when you start really looking at it, we stop traffic because we try to perfect. I have a lady who has not sent out a newsletter yet, and she bought the newsletter email system from me 3 years ago. Yeah. 3 years that she could be connecting with people. So what I want you to do is think about driving the traffic and driving the right traffic. So it's about getting people to know who you are, filtering in the people who have the same core values, who are attracted by what you have to offer. Because frankly, who cares if you're attracting somebody if they never want to buy something from you or have any value? Because there are different people that have different values. Some people will be connected to the people who have the values, right? Remember, most people have 250 people at least in their sphere of influence. So if you say if you meet Vicki and Vicki's just not really a potential client, but she's got a whole sphere of influence, and she has the same core value, her people probably have the same core value if she created her community right. So you connect with people to actually do more work, because a lot of times we just are so focused about just selling one person that we forget that it's about spreading the love. How can we help each other connect to other communities, right? So if I wanted, Katrina's community, I don't go, Katrina, I want you to introduce me to all your people. She probably won't do it. Instead of, Katrina, hey, why don't we do something fun together? Right? So we see, how can we connect with each other? Now I am benefiting her as well. I'm connecting her to my community, and she's connecting me to hers. Now some of you have small communities right now, and that's okay. I was at the EBC event talking, and a lady was like, I just have like 100 people on Facebook, and I feel so bad, because everyone there was like 5 million people, It was like huge numbers, right? And I stood up and I'm like, what's really crazy about those 100 is those 100 probably actually know you. My 50,000 on social media, they know of me. There's a difference, right? So when you can connect with people who have even small lists, don't devalue them. They have incredible value if their core values are the same. But what I want you to think about is driving that traffic to you. How do you do that? Do you know we get about 100,000 hits a month on the Public Speakers Association website? Tonya Hoffman alone gets about 10,000 to 25. How do I do that? You want to know? Yeah. Too bad. No. Because you're identifying the core values, you're identifying the right community, right? It's everything we just talked about. And when they get there, what can they do? What kind of fun will they have? Because you remember, you've got different types of people. There's going to be some people who just want the facts. So do you have a spot where they can get just the facts? Do you have the spot for the people like me who, I want to see how much fun am I going to have? No fun, no go, right? And then there's going to be people that are going to feel like they just want to be loved on. Do they feel loved on when they come to your website? I know some of y'all don't even have a picture of yourself on your website. Are you a speaker? And you don't have a picture of yourself with a microphone? Okay. So look at how are you attracting people to you, and what does that resonate into? What is that going to do for you? More traffic? What do you think that would do for your numbers, for your business? Right? Yeah. What else? Do you have a way for people just to reach out to you and just to say hi? Do you find people and attract them to you? Which is a weird statement a lot of times, because a lot of times we think about people just coming to us. A lot of it is also about the other direction, going out and finding people and attracting them in. That's what I did with Elliot, right? Someone posted on Facebook one day, what speaker coaches do you think is amazing or fabulous or something like that? And I'm like, oh, that's a great question. And then all these people started saying who their favorite speaker coaches was. Now, I could have just read it and go, oh, and then commented. Hell no. I went and looked up every single person, including Elliot, including all these other people, and I messaged them personally and saying, hey, I heard great things about you. And then we had a conversation. You have to get people off of your websites. You have to get people off of the environments, the social media. You have to actually have conversations. You know, it's called relationships. I think we've forgotten that. Relationships is the name of the game. So, are you reaching out and saying hello to somebody in a way that makes them go, oh, I really want to get to know this person? Sometimes you run into people you like, oh, I never want to know this person again. And then you go and you delete them from your friends list, you know. We've all had conversations that you're like, okay, that was the worst 5 minutes of my life. And if you went longer than 5 minutes, why? You know? Stop worrying about being rude with people you don't even care about being around your community. We're always so worried about properness and stuff. Okay, so you drive traffic. You've got to get to your websites. You've got to get your audiences to filter also. So you can do contest forms. It's so brilliant to do a contest. Because the people who don't like you or in the bottom 25% are not going to fill it out. Is that fabulous?
Yes.
But not if you're giving a trip to Cancun. Now you're going to get everybody. And guess what? Law of attraction always works. You're going to have to call those bottom 25% first. No, I didn't want your stuff. I just wanted the trip. Did I win? Filter those people. Filter them from the get-go. I know I did an incredible job when I get up on stage and 25% of the people get up and leave. Right at the get-go. I'm like, bye. I try not to show too much excitement because people are like, I'm so confused. Why is she so happy, right? And then I tell them. I always like telling them because I gave them my core value rules up front. And anyone is like, well, that's stupid. Yay! Get them out of the room as fast as you can. You don't want them in there. The other thing is when you're looking at a contest and you're handing out your forms, it's a great way to get a lot of information. What are they interested in? You know, you can ask them lots of different questions. People are amazing. And the people who don't, you know, want to fill out any of it, they won't. Maybe they'll just put their name on there to win the contest. So you learn what kind of people they are just by the way they fill it out. There's so much information that you can get into a form immediately. And then you make little notes. The people are like, here's my form. Oh yeah, you're talking to that person for a long time afterwards, right? Because they're super excited about you. So create some type of call to action, but you could do the contest form online. So I just looked this morning and I have like 12 people just signed up for my contest on my website on TonyaHoffman.com yesterday. I want to win your contest because I give away a coaching session on my website. But I also ask them questions. So I can go in immediately and say, hey, let's go ahead and have a strategy session right now. Why wait? Right? These are people that are excited. They took time to fill out your form. They took time to go to your website. They took time to fill out the form and everything, right? So these are the people you want to jump on. Okay, so you got your contest, you got your excitement. I'm going to leave you with this, is you do not want a standing ovation. I know people are like, yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do, Tonya. No, you don't. I really want one, please. All right. But you lose. So why do that, right? When I come in and I'm speaking at someone's conference, I actually pull them aside and say, hey, by the way, don't freak out. Nobody's going to stand up and give me a round of applause. They're like, why? Oh my gosh. Because then they're like, is she that bad? Because they should be sitting down, busily filling out your form. Contest form, sales form, right? If they stand up and they're all like, yeah, that was great, and then they all walk out. You never want to get them off their seats. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So stop with the ego. It's just feeding your ego. It's not making you any money, and it's not helping you at the end of the day. Because then you won't know who you need to filter in, who is excited about you, who is in the top 25%. You won't get any of that information if you don't stop and take that little step, get over the ego, and say, huh, these people really do love me because they filled my form out. Now, I did something crazy the other day because, I don't like being bored. And I just don't have enough on my plate as it is. And I said, the Public Speakers Association, I have a game, a speaker's game. And I've had it up for years, and it's been brilliant because it really helps people filter in and definitely filter out because they see my personality. And I've had people who are like, oh my gosh, there is no way I could ever work with you. Do I have to do stuff with you like all the time with PSA? I'm like, yeah, if you don't like me now, you're never going to like me later, okay? So you really want to help people get to see if they like you at the beginning, right? Isn't that great? So get people to like you at the beginning, and then that way you don't have to deal with them later. So the plugin that I created was great, but unfortunately I couldn't really resell it because unfortunately it was all coded by me. I know, isn't it crazy? I learned how to code. It's so crazy. Things we learn. So when you start looking at this is working. People keep asking me for it. What do? You go make something. At least that's what I do. So I made a WordPress plugin. You literally just add it to your website, and boom. People are happy because you're going to walk them through everything you just talked about. Your rules, your products, the benefits, the types of people. You can separate them out into separate websites. So if you're like, oh, I don't know how to handle entrepreneurs and corporate, great. Filter them through to the game. They take the game, they filter themselves, it takes them to different areas. So now you're talking their language. You can't talk to entrepreneurs and corporate the same way, right? Right. I see people try to do it. It doesn't work. Here's Ms. Sheila Unique. I love her last name because it really is her last name. So on the unique approach, she put it on the game, and it walks people through it so they get to see her personality. They can feel how calm she is, right? And someone who's like, I need more energy than that, they could go away. People are like, no, I don't want to change anything. They can go away. People that, I don't want to transform, I want to stay like I am, right? They keep going away. So this is kind of the brilliant fun, and it's easy, right? You had an easy time putting it in and everything. And I do it obviously on all of my websites. So you can start off with banners, with videos. I like videos, short videos. We're not talking 30 minutes, we're talking 30 seconds. Answer a question, right? They choose a question, you give them an answer. It could be like on the Public Speakers Association, are you nice and do you love nice people? Or, no, I do not like nice people, I don't want to be nice, So they could click on one or the other. Now, is it really rude of me if I have it redirect when they choose, they don't want to be nice to maybe the NSA website? I don't know, that's just...
They would love it if you did that.
Yeah, right. But it's an easy plug-in. It helps you filter your people in a very strategic way. It also helps drive traffic to your website because now you can post something on social media, drive that traffic in, because who doesn't want to play a game, right? And then the ladies are going to hand out some little flyers. We have a show special. Of course, we have a show special. So it's already affordable. It's only $249, but at the show, I'm giving it to you for $197 for a full year. If you need help with video creations, helping you set up the entire process, I will help you with that. We've got more information. If you need a website, some of you may not even have a website to put it on. You do have to have a WordPress website to have it plug into. We can help you with that too. So just come over, talk to me, or my lovely husband, Michael, and we would love to help you with that. And have a good time so that we can help you. Bring in the people who drool to work with you. You just have to wipe it off because it's so good. And then push away anyone that's like, ugh, right? That makes your stomach knot. You're like, bye. Because it's that yummy. Yay! Thank y'all very much.